Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most powerful, but honestly, one of the most misunderstood forces in the entire business world, company culture.
So let's just jump right in. Is your company's culture an asset or is it a liability? Because make no mistake, it's never neutral. It's either an active force that is supercharging your company's performance, or it's a massive, silent drag on your bottom line. The real question is, which one is it for you?
For decades, we've thought about culture as the soft stuff, the free snacks, the birthday cakes, the fun campaigns that HR rolls out. But that model, it isn't just outdated, it is completely broken. The new reality is that culture is a core strategic priority, with everyone sharing responsibility and a very real, very measurable impact on the bottom line.
So what exactly changed? How did we get here? Let's take a look at why this old idea that culture is just a to-do list for the HR department simply doesn't work anymore.
The traditional approach was really simple, wasn't it? The CEO would say, hey, we need some culture, and delegate it to human resources. So HR would put some inspiring values up on the wall, maybe add some better coffee in the break room and check it off the list. Then, everyone just moved on. Job done. Or so they thought. But then, a series of, seismic shifts just completely shattered that old model. First, you have these huge, high-profile crises at companies like Uber and Wells Fargo, which really pulled back the curtain on just how damaging a toxic culture could be. Then, boom, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, totally upending how and where we work and exposing just how ineffective that rigid, top-down leadership style was. And right on its heels, the Great Resignation kicked off, making it crystal clear that in the new war for talent, culture isn't a perk. It's the main battleground.
And listen, this isn't just some fluffy morale problem. A toxic culture actively, and I mean actively, drains value right out of a company. Let's look at the hard numbers.
This is just staggering. Research shows that unhealthy workplaces cost U.S. businesses an estimated $292 billion every single year. That's not about hurt feelings. That's about the very real costs of employee turnover, of people calling in sick because they dread coming to work, and of lost productivity on a massive, massive scale.
So what makes a culture toxic? Well, researchers at MIT Sloan actually pinpointed 5 key things that reliably poison a company's culture. They call them the Toxic 5. The number one predictor of a toxic environment is disrespect, where people feel demeaned or devalued. That's followed by a non-inclusive environment, unethical behavior, a cutthroat, backstabbing atmosphere, and of course, abusive managers. If you see these, you're looking at red flags for why people are heading for the exits.
Now, this right here is where it all clicks into place. This is where the power of culture becomes absolutely undeniable. MIT's research found that a toxic culture is 10 times, not 2, not 3, but 10 times more powerful than how much you pay someone in predicting if they're going to quit. Think about that. People don't just leave for a better paycheck. They are literally fleeing a bad environment.
And the scale of this problem? It's global. Just look at this. Gallup data shows that a mind-blowing 85% of employees around the world are either not engaged or are actively disengaged. They're just punching the clock, doing the bare minimum to get by. That represents a colossal loss of human potential, costing the global economy an estimated $7 trillion in lost productivity.
Okay, so if the old top-down, leave-it-to-HR model is so clearly broken, what's the solution? Well, the answer lies in a complete shift in how we think about who actually owns the culture.
It's called the shared responsibility model. And it's not some vague, fluffy idea. It redefines culture as something that everyone, at every level, is responsible for building. It's no longer this fuzzy concept that everybody sort of influences but nobody really leads. Instead, it's a distributed, coordinated effort where every single level of the organization has a clear role to play and, crucially, is held accountable for it.
You know, a great way to think about it is this. Culture is less like a rigid code of laws handed down from the top, and it's much more like a shared toolkit. It's a collection of values, attitudes, and behaviors that everyone in the company can draw from, use, and even add to. In this model, culture becomes what people actually do every single day.
So what does that actually look like? How does this work in practice? This model isn't just a nice thought. It assigns very clear, very actionable roles to everyone in the entire organization.
It starts at the very top, with the board guiding the overall vision. The CEO and senior leaders? Their job is to define and champion it constantly. HR then designs the systems and experiences that bring that culture to life for employees. But here's the critical link: middle managers. They are the ones who translate the big ideas into the daily reality for their teams. And finally, every single employee is responsible for giving feedback and upholding those cultural norms with their own actions. See? It's a fully coordinated effort. Okay, now for the best part, the payoff. Because this isn't just about creating a nice, warm, fuzzy place to work. No. Investing in a healthy, shared culture delivers significant and, more importantly, measurable business advantages.
Let's start with keeping your best people. Even in industries that are known for high turnover, organizations with healthy cultures see 62% less turnover than their competitors with toxic environments. That is a massive savings in recruiting, hiring, and training costs.
And guess what? That lower turnover translates directly into higher profits. The research from Gallup consistently shows that companies with the most engaged employees, which is a direct result of a healthy culture, are a full 21% more profitable.
And it doesn't stop there. They also see a real boost in performance. Teams with engaged employees demonstrate 17% greater productivity in sales. It's simple. When people are committed to the culture, they're way more committed to delivering results. And you can see this in action with some of the biggest companies in the world. I mean, just take Microsoft. Before 2014, it was notorious for its cutthroat internal culture of stack ranking, where employees were forced to compete against each other. But under their CEO, Satya Nadella, they made a deliberate shift to a culture built on empathy, learning, and collaboration. And the result? Their market value tripled, and they completely reinvented themselves as a dominant leader in cloud computing and AI. So you can forget that old saying about culture eating strategy for breakfast. This quote here offers a much better way to think about it. Culture and strategy aren't competing forces. Culture is the environment. It's the habitat. You can have the most brilliant strategy in the world, but it will absolutely wither and die in a toxic habitat. A healthy one, though, that's what allows strategy to thrive. So ultimately, culture isn't a poster you hang on the wall, and it's not a program run by HR. It's simply the sum of everyone's daily actions and interactions. It's what you do. It's what your colleagues do. It's what your leaders do. Which really just leaves one final question for you. What will you do tomorrow to help build the culture you want to be a part of?